So managed to get one out. There's the second one up there. Here is the screw in question. It's actually bent as well. Today we're going to change the spark plugs on the RX-7 and explain why the RX-7 uses two different plugs. So there are two different heat ranges and the plugs kind of look different than your regular plug. So let's jump into it. We're going to be working on the RX-7 to get the oil changed and also the filter, and we're going to also talk about spark plugs and how it works in an RX-7. So first step is to jack up the cart. All jacked up. Now we can remove our oil cap here just so that the oil will flow a little bit easier, and then we can go ahead and start removing the filter. I'll also drain the oil catch can as well, so we just need to make sure that there's enough space to get to back here. And then after that, while the oil is draining, I'll tackle the spark plugs, but I'm going to tackle them from underneath because it's a lot easier. Why run two different plugs in the RX-7? So two different heat ranges. So the lower the plug number, in this case we run 7s, in the lead-in, which is the lower one, remember that, and in the T is for top or trailing, we run a higher number. So a low number will keep a lot of heat in the plug, and this is good for burning off deposits, whereas the higher number draws a lot more heat away from the plug, and as a result can run a lot more higher temperatures, higher boosts, so more power. So it's good to make sure that you have two different ranges. You can play around with the different ranges, like maybe running a 10 and a 9 or a 8 and a 7 and so on. It just depends on what you plan to do with the car. So this car being just a weekend warrior kind of car, I'm keeping it stock with 9 in the trailing and 7 heat range in the lead-in. On an RX-7 we have two spark plugs per rotor housing. There's one at the top that's called the trailing and one on the lower part of the housing called the lead-in. Now an RX-7 spark plug is very flat, so you can notice that it's not like regular spark plugs, which looks like this. So you see it has the tip, so you wouldn't want to run this in the rotary without any modifications, of course, unless you want this piece to end up in the combustion chamber. So RX-7s are flat because the rotor runs past it and the apex seal goes just above the top of it. So it's like this for that reason, and they're also a lot thicker than regular spark plugs and a lot longer as well. As you can see, the height comparison is very different. So you want to make sure that you're running the right spark plugs on your RX-7. Now the top one, which is the trailing, runs a heat range of 9, where the lower one, which is called the lead-in, runs a heat range of 7.
Move, move, body, move, move your body, do you move, move, body, move, move your body, do you?
You're running through my mind with a shotgun. I'm running out of time, but I'm not done. Yeah, I don't need to run, it will come to me. I don't need to fight, but I keep moving, keep moving. Even what I lose, yeah, I keep moving. Put on my shoes, yeah, I keep moving. There's no room to refuse. Don't you mess with us, we're not afraid. Look at us, no.
You might not be able to see this on camera, but there are two different colors. So the black one is for the lead-in and the blue one is for the trailing. So there are two different colors, so you can remember which one goes where. Now on to the harder part, to get to these around there. And we have this in the way, and we have this harness as well. So I might have to get the trailing one on this side from the top, and the leading one will look like we can get from here. So I managed to get one out. There's the second one up there, which is even harder to get to, but you can see there's the second one there that we need to get to. That's the trailing, much harder, but got out the leading one in the lower part there. So let's get to that one. It's really hard to film because of the angle, so can't really show you guys how I'm doing it, but yeah, it's pretty intense. Not hard per se, but it's just time consuming because of all of these things in the way. So yeah, thanks Mazda. That is job done. We have all of them installed, all of the cables running to the right ones. Remember, the black ones are to the leading and the blue ones are to the trailing. So we have changed the plugs in there. The plugs that came out were a little bit sad for the eyes. Good time to change them, but nothing out of the ordinary. New plugs in onto the oil filter, and then we will just tighten back here the oil drain and then put some new oil in there and get her started. There's no fragments on the oil plug, so that's good. So the oil filter is here, but because I have an adapter to run, you know, oil pressure and oil temp, this little screw here, if you can see that, it needs to be removed from the throttle body so that the filter can come up and come out easily. So I'm going to try and remove it. It's kind of a pain, but it has to be removed in order for the filter to get past here. Here is the screw in question. It's actually bent as well. You can see it's kind of bent down, but this screw goes up into a little slot here on the throttle body. I believe it's to help with the idle. If anybody knows in the comments, you can let me know. But it's a very interesting screw. It's a very fine pitch thread, so it's a very unique screw. New filter is on. This is the K&N filter. Part number is HP1008, and it's 20,000 mile protection, 2 times stronger, easy removal. Well, for you to remove it, you'd need probably a size 26 socket, so not an ordinary size socket. So now we just need to plug back in the throttle position sensor and also install this screw again. So it's always a pain, but it has to be done. Alright, we have a helper here today. This is Remy. Remy, say hi. Alright, he's not really helping me, we're in the way, but now it's time to fill up with Castrol GTX. Have the oil filter installed, that pesky little throttle body screw, got it back in. Now some of you might have told me that why use Castrol. I don't trust any other oil. I have tried a bunch of other oils. I have tried Amsoil, Valvoline, Mobil One, Royal Purple, all of them, and none of them work as well as Castrol GTX for me. I use 20W50 in the rotary engine. I think it lasts pretty long and it does the job. So yeah, I use Castrol GTX. Car is back on the ground. Oil changed, spark plugs changed. Now we just need to start her up and check oil pressures and check for any leaks. First start, check the oil, level is good, filter is on. Let's start. filter is good. I don't see any oil leaking on the ground anywhere or anything like that. Car is idling good. That's great. So now we'll just take it on a run. But if this is the type of content you like to see, please consider subscribing. Check out our merch at ModzCity.com, and be sure to follow for more stories on the RX7. More updates coming on the Supra, waiting on the part for that. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Until next time, drive safe.